Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the King Leo Show. Hello? Hello, is this thing on? Is this thing on? How you doing, J Boss, my friend? My Baudrillardian friend. How you doing, sir? We are very disorganized today. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, man. I did not eat for most of the day. I did like accidental intermittent fasting. And so I'm a little retarded, honestly. I feel a little dumb today. But I'm very excited for the show today because we get to deconstruct Mr. John Kiriakou, who I found him to be interesting. I found him to be an interesting fellow. What the hell is this? What's going on here? Undo changes. What are we doing? Give me the damn thing. I'll be right there, J Boss. 1 second for the pre-show. I just gotta update the description. The description. I gotta throw the chat on here. I gotta do all this crap. This is. We need to get a new producer, man. No, I'm kidding. He's a great producer. We need to get like someone that can there. All right, perfect. This is working. All right. I'm way into fasting. I do 10. No way. How do you do that? How do you even survive that, man? 10 days? That's not possible. Are you serious? Don't you die after 7 days without food or something like that? I know fasting is in vogue these days. People love to fast now. I'm not saying that's why you're doing it, but I've just heard a lot of people. I know it's supposed to be good for your telomeres, which helps you live longer. There we go. We live in a twilight world. I have a lot of patience, to be fair. Yes, I am serious. But is it good for you to do that? To do a 10-day fast? I assume it's probably fine, but that's just that's kind of scary, man. Is it good for you? Is it do it because of carnivore diet? Are you full carnivore? Because I'm not I'm high protein, but not necessarily carnivore. But wait, like you don't do vegetables and and that kind of stuff? Is that I like the vegetables and all that. Yes, before 10 days, it's good. After 10 days, you need medical attention. And do you do anything in the 10 days at all? Or are you just like, what? You just chill out. I am full carnivore. Dude, isn't it supposed to be? I'm not being judgmental. I don't know how it works. And I don't tell people how to live or anything. But isn't it supposed to be bad to be full carnivore? Isn't there a problem with that supposedly? Because I did carnivore once way back, which is kind of like Atkins, what I did way back. But is it good for you? Is it okay? That's interesting. That's interesting, man. I don't know. I eat nothing at all in the 10 days. After that, I use broth to come out of it. How often are you doing this, man? Like every month? That'd be crazy. No, no way. The closest I've come to that was I did the low FODMAP diet last year to discover what was wrong with me. And brother, that is an intense diet. It's fucking terrible. There are many debates, but I read the papers myself and I always feel good. Interesting. Yeah, I heard that it's not good for not to get graphic, like the bowels to be full carnivore. But once a month, dude, you're crazy. You're spending a third of a month not eating. I mean, that's cool, but damn. All right, all right. Well, yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I mean, it's good for you, sir. The fact you have that willpower. I don't have that willpower. I am in a struggle right now. Not a struggle. I'm not trying to give up nicotine or anything like that, but I want to get off of it entirely for like a month or so, just to see if I can. How you doing, Eves? Right, 10 days. It's pretty wild. You don't need to do carnivore. The main thing is carbs are super bad, so whatever you can do to avoid it is good. But I don't think rice is that bad. Because I'm gluten free. I'm gluten free and I'm dairy free. Unless how you doing, Eves? Unless I do a lactase pill. I think gluten is definitely bad, but isn't it good in Europe? In Europe, the quality of gluten because of the lack of glyphosate is good. You're living like in the best part of the world in terms of food quality, right? I don't know. Nicotine is actually healthy. It's the other stuff that nicotine has no problems. I completely agree. It has no issues. However, the reason that I want to get off of it is because I've heard, from what I understand, is that nicotine can boost DHT production, which is bad for the scalp and hair production. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. You know, but I just want to try it out, see if I can do it. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, Brett here's very selective. Yeah, dude, Brett is, and you're. It is 10:01. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo. Tonight we are going to cover John Kiriakou. I'm very excited to talk about him. We have made fun of John for a little bit on this show. He's a very funny guy. Is he doing a bit? Is he doing something real? Is he not? What is the point of John Kiriakou these days? You know, this is. Hang on, wait. Oh, I didn't have the chat on live chat. Okay, there we go. We're good. But before we get into all that, let's do our plugs. All right. First of all, I have to plug. I have to plug the new video. Everyone go on the channel, watch the new video. The new video, I saw Eve saw it. I'm gonna get back. I caught up on a lot of comments today. I caught up on the Patreon, not the Discord, but I caught up on a lot. But it's a good video. It was me talking about the lack of literacy, which is a pretty interesting topic that no one talks about. So check that out. Go give it a like. Go give it a hype it. But also we have the Patreon over here, which is $5 or $20 a month. It's so cheap. Let me do the math for you right here. Look at this. Look at this. 5 over. Let's do it for February 28. That's 17 cents a day. 18 cents a day. Gets you access to King Leo Movie Club. Gets you access to the Baudrillardian Film History series. Gets you access to the DMs. Great stuff. Join us over here on Patreon. Also gets you on the Chiron over here. In addition to that, I think I took someone off the Chiron that I need to put back. I also have to pronounce here the Discord server, which is in the description. All of this in the description, and the What Would a Postmodernist Do parody bracelet available in the description. All right, I think it's time to start the show. How's everyone doing tonight? Let me see, dude, because there's one thing I want to throw in here. J-Boss says, I did watch the literacy video and liked it. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. People don't like to talk about this literacy thing, man. They like to just, I don't know. I'm really anti-literacy, and whenever I say that, it's like, oh, you're crazy. Why would you say that? But, you know, I have my reasons. I'm sorry. The reason I'm holding up here is because the first bit of Schizo Watch is going to be based on this current rally that Mr. Fishback is doing right now in Tampa.
We've got to build.
I think we can do that, actually. Eve says, hi, bro. You're disciplining my friend at Eve's. At J-Bot. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get into Schizo Watch. How's everyone doing tonight? All right. So, firstly, let's start here. So, Mr. Fishback, we saw this yesterday, that he is hosting a rally at Cafe Bitch Ga in Tampa. Yesterday we saw the poster, which was this, where he wrote it out. And today he released this picture of himself in front of Bitch Ga. I think we should watch a little bit of this rally. It's going on live right now. Let's see what's going on over there.
There must be justice for every single one of Epstein's victims. As governor, we can do that right here in Florida. We talk a lot about Epstein's Island down in the Caribbean. There was another island that Epstein spent a lot more time in, where he abused and trafficked far more women on. And that island's...
He has the Burger King hat still over here. And this is Cafe Bitch Ga. I mean, I don't think it's exactly it. It seems like it's a convenience store across the street. This is a security guard, by the way, guys. This is the MAGA rapper, dude. This is the guy we saw, I'm a white, he was saying the N-word, which is crazy. He's here. Oh my God, that's crazy, dude. Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. He's in Tampa at a gas station. Everyone here. Let's look at the crowd. Who pulled up over here? Look, giving out water. A lot of younger and older guys. Look at this. Older guys. I'm surprised he has this guy on board because he's critical of Trump, Fishback. But he has this here. This is an interesting time.
There's a fork in the road right now. For as much as I kid about Congressman Donalds, I had dinner with him before I told him I was running, and I laid out my vision, our vision, the America First vision, to keep Florida, Florida, to preserve our great state. He didn't want any of it, so if he wasn't going to do it, then I guess I had to. But this is not about him versus me. It's not about the who. It is about the what. What vision for Florida do you want? Do you want old Florida or do you want new Florida?
All right, that's enough. Wow, so he actually did it, huh? And in front of a gas station. I wonder how this worked out. That's so odd. Look at this, a couple. Let's see if we go back here. We can see from the beginning. What's going on? Look at this. Look at this. Good for him.
What's in the best
All right. That's the start. I just wanted to follow up here with
interests?
this whole thing since we had seen it yesterday. Is this done? Is it not live anymore? All right, Fishback. All right, 378 viewers. It's not that bad. And that'll be decimated, what's it called? Distributed afterwards. Very interesting. Let's continue. Speaking of Florida, I have to show you here what my current governor did. Mr. Fishback has won already in a lot of ways. This is the weirdest thing I have seen Ron do, because I don't know if he's trying to do stand-up comedy like President Trump, but he spoke in full Ebonics today, making fun of Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah, this would not be imaginable just a few years ago. It'd be racist. Let's see Mr. DeSantis, what he did. This is really crazy. You are not ready for this. You're not ready for this one.
We're going to do maximum warfare against Republicans. Florida Republicans, you F around, you're going to find out all this stuff. And, you know, what I said was, listen, and he's like, oh, if you do the redistricting, we're going to take out all your members, we're going to do all this stuff. And what I said was, go ahead, make my day. You don't think we're going to... You want to come down here and spend money in Florida? Roll the dice and take your chances, but don't think that you can come down here, issue threats to us, and somehow you're going to make us flinch. That is not happening, and in fact, it did not happen, because as soon as he came out and started doing that last week, Florida legislature turned around and they passed.
Very nice, but was the Ebonics necessary one more time?
We're going to do maximum warfare against Republicans. Florida Republicans, you F around, you're going to find out all this stuff.
This is the most animated I've seen Ron DeSantis ever. That's really something. Let's listen to the other bit.
And he's like, oh, if you do the redistricting, we're going to take out all your members. We're going to do all this stuff. And what I said was... we're going to do maximum warfare against Republicans.
Sensational.
We gonna do, that's crazy, dude. I mean, it is kind of poetic. This is the governor who, according to the right in America, ended wokeness. Woke is dead. So you would expect him to bring back racialized humor. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting because he is doing, there's a debate in the comments here where they keep, they're like, is he actually making fun of him one-on-one, or is it doing African-American vernacular English or Ebonics? What is he actually doing here? One more time, let's just listen. Let's close our eyes. Like, do you think he's making fun, or he's making fun of black people?
We're going to do maximum warfare against Republicans.
Hang on, let's get a little autistic here. 1 second. Hakeem Jeffries' voice. Let me listen to this. What is his voice? Let's see this. I need to refresh it here and see if he's actually doing it. Is he doing... No way. Let me see.
I want to close by referencing
Take your sweet time.
someone, those whose character, whose conviction.
One more time then. All right, now we have a baseline. What is he doing?
We're going to do maximum warfare against Republicans.
I mean,
Florida Republicans, you F around, you're going to find out.
yeah, it reminds me of when Bill O'Reilly was describing that chicken restaurant in New York. That was a very racist way of doing that. I can't tell. But what I can tell you is this would not have happened years ago. Years ago, to do something like this, I remember when he was running for governor, we had Andrew Gillum, who turned out to be a meth head, closeted guy. Good on you, Florida Democrats, for choosing to stick us with Ron by doing that. But if he had done something like this, being like, I'm Andrew Gillum, I'm doing warfare, it would have been like, dude, you're racist, you know, you can't be. But now this is permissible. I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's very, very, listen, if there's anything to be said, it's that doing impressions, I guess, is back. I remember for a long time that wasn't allowed. And in a lot of ways, at least in my state, this has to be Fishback's doing. Who else has really been pushing the envelope in terms of this stuff? So I don't. All right, Rod. This is some crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. How you doing, Iron Hammer? Let's continue. We need to look at Tim Pool, man. We need to look at Tim Pool talking with his group of hard friends.
I like to get a bunch of men together.
Okay.
Men that are the hardest of the hard. And I want to be with these men.
We need to talk. Where has Tim Pool been? I feel like he's lost influence. He said that he was going to quit doing the Tim Pool show because not enough people were watching it. If Tim Pool were alone in the woods, would Tim Pool still have a microphone and speak into nothing? I don't know who is watching Tim Pool. Well, I think it's very curious what he said here. Let us see what Tim Pool has to say about someone we've covered this week, who is Nick Fuentes, as well as his take. Remember Tim Pool. Brother, we have to listen. Hang on.
You can't keep getting away with it. You can't keep getting away with it.
If I recall correctly, Tim Pool said that we would be in a civil war by last year that would involve tens of thousands of American deaths and low-grade warfare. I don't know if any of that happened, Timmy boy. I don't know if it. So I want to hold him to his predictions because he's making more predictions here that are kind of odd. It's odd, and I can't let him get away with it again. So I need to play this for you here. J Boss says, did he really threaten to quit making a show due to low numbers? I missed that. Yeah, he did say that. I think he said it was out of safety more than his numbers. He was like, they're trying to dox me. We're spending so much money on security. It's not working. Blah, blah, blah.
So the United States, it is, 69, 67% white right now?
It's like 55 if you don't count non-Hispanic, or Hispanic whites are sometimes lumped
right.
in.
I think what you'll end up seeing is people are going to snap.
Again, a lot of people bank on like sort of like the silent majority sort of waking up and these sorts of things. But
I'm not saying to bank on it. I'm saying there are going to be, like, there literally are. Look at Nick Fuentes. Dude gets 1 million views on his podcast.
Yeah,
bro, I am, again, not saying the majority of America is going to wake up one day as white identitarians. I'm saying there's going to be a large movement. And I think it's probably cheap to say because there already technically is one, but I'm saying it's going to be more prominent in the political space.
Yeah, I mean, I could see like a sizable segment of the Republican Party probably does at least conceptualize it in that way. They just don't vocalize it. And I think what you're saying is that down the road, people will actually like express this more.
I'm saying that when Nick is 36 or 40 years old and he has a bigger following, he is going to have a sizable chunk of voters that are. I don't want to say that they're like the Groypers are. Like their core identity is white identitarian, but it certainly is an element of their political worldview.
I've watched Nick kind of de-radicalize over since Charlie was killed, especially. He's pretty cool. His fault.
He outright said on this show when I asked him if every single person today woke up with the same values they had, pro-America, singing songs, apple pie, but they were Indian, would that be good? And he said it would be bad. Like white identitarian is an element of his worldview.
I'm open to that debate, but I've seen him chill, so it might be that he's like the off ramp for 80,000 screaming, raging dudes that are like.
Well, didn't Charlie Kirk himself say that actually? That if you replaced all white Christian Americans, or at least Americans, with Indians who still had the same values and same Christianity, that would no longer be America? Charlie himself said that.
Did he say that?
Yeah, Charlie Kirk tweeted that.
Yeah, and that's not like a hateful thing to say. That's just like a understanding that, like, yes, the composition of the country changed, so it's not the same country. That's like a very natural thing.
Yeah, why I think it will happen is because I do think there has to be some response to this, like, drowning us in white guilt.
Yes, I agree.
And part of me thinks, well, maybe that was, electorally we'd see it, but I think it still consists. It still continues. There is this white guilt out there, and I think there's gonna have to be some pushback.
I can't stand white people, dude.
I have to. This is the first time I see this argument, actually. This argument is demographics is destiny, which was a racialized argument. Some even say racist, that was made back in the day. I remember like 10 years ago. Actually, it's weird because even before that, it was actually made by the other side, which was the Democrats used to say, America's going to be majority Hispanic and they are going to vote for Democrats. And I was like, what? I don't believe that's true. Have you met a Hispanic person? I'm Hispanic. Why would that be the case? Okay. But they used to say, when I was a kid, I remember that. When I was a little kid, they used to say, someday the Hispanics will be the majority and they're going to vote Democrat, and that's it. And then a few years later, I remember some people who were on the right wing started saying a similar thing. I think Ann Coulter said this, even Donald Trump alluded to it, that we were going to get all these Hispanics into the country and they were going to change the country's voting patterns and that the country was essentially over. And I remember at the time, everyone was like, that's racist. You can't say that. I always thought it was silly. I was like, there's no way that. Have you seen how Hispanics vote? Dude, Hispanics, I'm telling you, because I know my people will vote for the most communist military dictator one year and then the most right-wing military dictator the next. Like, what are you talking about? But regardless, now I've never heard this argument, which Tim Pool is making, that demographics are destiny in the sense that the white people are 50-something% of the country, so they're still the majority. And someday they're going to wake up and all vote for Nick Fuentes, which I sincerely doubt. I don't think that that's true at all. I think that white people, again, it's like, are we going to make this argument for the rest of my life? This demographics is destiny argument, that no matter what happens, there's always going to be a mass of people who, for some reason, I don't know, it's like a very reductive way at viewing people where they're like, oh, you're white, you're going to vote for Nick Fuentes. Oh, you're Hispanic, you're going to vote for Democrats. But are they just going to switch the demographic every time and say, I don't think that a majority of white people are going to vote for Nick Fuentes. I don't think that's true. Sorry, Tim Pool.
That's right, Ron.
I don't think that's the case. I think this is pretty. I've never heard the demographics is destiny. I always heard it from the other direction. But if Tim Pool is saying it, I'm sure other people are going to say this as well. But I don't think that white people are going to wake up when Nick Fuentes is going to be 36 in 2035. I'll be 36 in 2035. So 2034. He's 1 year before me. I don't think the white people, you know what might happen? All the Hispanics might vote for him or all, I don't know, all the like indigenous people. What are we talking about? And by 2034, over the next 8 years, what is that? No, that's 8 years, right? Am I tripping right now? No, it's 8 years. Dude, I am out of it today. Over the next 8 years, I don't think that the whites are going to become. Dude, I think that white people are getting increasingly radicalized in both directions, right? As a demographic, I don't see them all going one way. And that's the same for all communities, isn't it? To an extent. So I don't see this. I see Iron Hammer says, I don't think anyone would vote for Nick Fuentes. I also think that, I don't know, you would have to go like real, like, dude, I don't know. Even if the world changes or something like that, like significantly, in terms of what is tolerable. And I'm not even saying he deserves to be persecuted for what he said or anything, but he has said some shit that's like, how can an EU regulator sit down with the Nick Fuentes Secretary of State to discuss social media? You know, I think it's going to be... I don't see how that would be possible, but that's Tim Pool for you. That's Tim Pool. J-Boss says Fuentes needs to mature a bit more because sense of humor is too frat. Right, but dude, that's going to follow him. You know, I know, like, not really, but it will. You know, it actually will, because Trump pulled that in 2016. The rest of his life, he's always like this kooky, kind of Democrat reform type of guy. No, constitutional party. What was it in 2000? No, it's reform. Get confused with the British reform. But he's an older guy saying this stuff now. You know, Nick Fuentes, that's a grown-ass man. His nuts are hanging. And he's saying some pretty out-of-pocket stuff, which is, all right, I'm not saying he shouldn't say it, but I think it would require a significant change in America, not just from white people, from everyone, for him to get elected. But all right, thank you, Tim Pool. Let's continue. You can skip this. Speaking of white people, how you doing, Audio Vibes? Eve says, Fuentes refers to himself as white. Opinion... I don't, that's a great transition, Eves, because I wanted to play this today from the Supreme Court. Let us listen to now the Supreme Court is debating who is actually white and not white. That's a good question, Eves. Let's see.
Isn't it the case that TPS was terminated for quite a list of countries? I can't seem to find the particular page of the transcript where the district court goes through them all. And yes, none of those is a Nordic country. And I don't like dividing up the people of the world arbitrarily into three racial groups. But when you say they're all non-white, and that's the distinguishing characteristic.
That is the distinguishing characteristic that the district court held. But I would emphasize, Justice Alito, that...
But do you think that if you put Syrians, Turks, Greeks, and other people who live around the Mediterranean in a lineup, do you think you could say those people are that all of them, are they all non-white?
I understand that Syrians, I think, may be classified as white for purposes of the State Department, or for under certain government programs. But again, I think race is. I think you'd have to poll the public to know what they think the race of a Syrian is. I certainly think they're not white.
Poll the American people.
Well,
do they think Syrians are white?
I wouldn't think that most would, Justice Alito.
Really?
I really don't.
How about Turks?
I honestly haven't considered what racial component I would sort Turks into.
How about Greeks?
I don't know the answer to that either.
How about Southern Italians?
Well, certainly 120 years ago, when we had our last wave of European immigration, Southern Italians were not considered white. So I think our concept of these things evolves over time.
How about Spaniards?
I think same answer. About 120 years ago, I don't think they were considered white.
You have a really large, a really broad definition of who's white and who's not white. As I said, I don't like dividing the people of the world into these groups.
I understand. I would say that even under this court's rationality jurisprudence, if you look at cases like Moreno, it is not necessary for us to get strict scrutiny to win here, because irrespective of how you do the classification at issue here, under those courts, under those decisions, under those precedents, bare dislike of an unpopular group is a sufficient basis to find that rational basis is not even satisfied.
I mean,
impressive. Very nice.
Do we need to get like skull measurements out at the Supreme Court now? These are questions that I often wonder, because I'm more of like an ethnic guy. I understand ethnicity. The race thing is like, kind of get it, kind of don't. I kind of get it, but it doesn't make sense. Like Asians, meaning that Chinese and Japanese are the same thing. They don't like each other. But whatever. But this is... The Supreme Court is doing skull measurements now. Are the Spanish white? You can't do that.
You can't do it. It's disgusting.
You can't be doing this. And Alito's saying, I don't want to be doing this, but you're making the argument. What? By the way, this is the supreme law of the land, the Supreme Court. I'm sure it's kind of like the American Pope for the legal system. If Justice Alito says that the Italians, he said Southern Italians too. Like you know, he had some notion. He was like, those Southern Italians. What do they call them? Starts with a T, the T word. You know, he might as well have.
Say the N word. Go on.
I mean, what? We are debating the skull measurements and the. We're getting a little silly. This sounds like the Supreme Court in 1873 or something, like Dred Scott. Is he black? Is he white? What? Yeah. All right. So, Eves, I don't know. We need to ask Justice Alito if Nick Fuentes is white. I don't know. J-Boss says, Afra's back! Afra, I'm so happy to see you! Afra, you're back. We missed you. When the Supreme Court's losing institutional trust, it's over. No, but I mean, I'm not losing trust. Look, I feel like that TikTok where that guy goes to heaven and he's like, no, it's fine. I just didn't expect it to be Chinese. You know, I mean, this is fine. I just didn't expect the Supreme Court to be debating who's white. It's the big 2026. What? You know, Cecil Rhodes is here. You know, we have the return of scientific racism at the Supreme Court. Are Syrians white? I don't know. That Jelani guy doesn't seem white to me. But I don't know, dude. If we're gonna live with this. J-Boss says if the Spanish were not white, then why would they could claim we do not need diversity in non-European immigration, couldn't they? Also, Northern Italians are more Southern than Spaniards. But the thing is, because I read a Booker T. Washington book about this, because I read Vienna Sands, who's a Venezuelan author, who wrote about Booker T in the 20s. So I read both of the books, and he was saying that America's racial classifications don't make any sense because he was like, look at this incident that Booker T describes. And Booker T Washington described, and this happened, Booker T wasn't a liar, this incident where on a train in America, there was a Southern Italian on the train back in the time of segregation. And they said, you have to go sit in the other cart with the African Americans. And they said, prego, I am not the African American, I am Italian. And they're like, no, sir, you're too dark to be. And he was like, I am European. I do not understand. So it's always been, I don't understand. Insane. Let's check in on the comedians. J-Boss gave me a list of comedians to check out. Let me show you what the rest of the comedians are doing. Let's listen to Tony Hinchcliffe, the hilarious comedian. What is he talking about these days, huh?
Do you guys live here in San Francisco? What a shithole. It's actually worse than a shithole. You could actually use a shithole here to put the shit into that's on the streets. A shithole would be an actual upgrade. It used to be so beautiful here. You guys remember the intro to Full House? That house is still full because 23 Somalians live in it now.
I don't get it. This is resurfaced. This is from this holiday party with the All In podcast. You can see Jason laughing his ass off back here. Tony Hinchcliffe's supposed to be one of these roast comedians. I guess David Sachs is there. I've been to San Francisco. San Francisco is the most beautiful city on the planet, bar none. Absolutely the greatest city in the world. I love San Francisco. If you're talking about like this about San Francisco,
you are fighting against America and you hate white people.
San Francisco is the greatest city in the world. I love San Francisco. I did not see any Somalians in San Francisco at all, actually. The house from Full House, I'm not trying to be literal here, is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the whole country. I understand it has its problems, but this is trite. It has been said. This is, dude, I don't get it. It's this reeks of jealousy. You live in Austin. Austin's a shithole. It sucks. There's nothing there. San Francisco is the greatest city in the world. It's the city that invented the whole world, actually. And Tony Hinchcliffe, who finds this funny? I'm really surprised to see David Sachs and Jason dying. Oh, it's so fun. Noticeably, Chamath isn't there, the Sri Lankan guy. Is this the whole bit? Is the bit just to be racist and like to be making racist jokes that aren't funny? I don't get it. How is this the top 20 comedy assassins, as Joe Rogan says? This is great stuff, man. Absolutely.
Sensational.
J Boss says, despite the public's opinion, there are objective truths about European populations. The only Euros outside average are Finns, Russians, Maltese, and Sicilians. There's a paper on it. Finns, Russians. Is Russians even a race, dude? Isn't there like 6 of them in there? Or like 12 of them? I don't even know how it works. But, and aren't the Corsicans some odd little group too? Where like they don't relate to anyone? I think we may have talked about this before, J-Boss. I have not read the genetics paper. I have not. Saw the Supreme Court talking about it. It was very funny. We have to get over here. Speaking of race, we have to get over here to... We saw this clip of Laura Loomer the other day being pretty racially insensitive. Well, now we get to watch it again with Candace Owens. Great stuff.
I just remember her always talking about how she wanted to be like a suburban wife. Like she wanted to drive like a black Escalade. She used to talk about how Club Monaco was her favorite store, and she always just wanted to have like a white husband and be like, you know, married to like a established white man. And she used to tell me like, oh, I don't date black men. And she's like, in fact, when I was in high school, I was known as the girl that would like go to the club and basically steal your man. Like that's how she literally used to talk. And she would say, there was something just like really satisfying to me about being a black girl from the hood, being able to like walk into a ritzy bar in Greenwich and leave with the hottest white guy there and basically like ruin the relationship of like the popular white girl. This is how she used to speak. And for some reason, there's a lot of people that are really afraid of this nappy-headed black bitch who just has a lot to say, but not really a lot to offer. So I'm not afraid of Candace Owens. Candace Owens is just this one resentful ghetto black bitch. Like that's literally what she is. She's a racist too. Like you could listen to this, and I'm not a racist person, right? Like I don't hate black people, but I say she's a ghetto black bitch because you have to listen to the way that she has so much resentment for white girls, like white girls with blonde hair and blue eyes. And you know, I'm originally a blonde too. I have blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Maybe that's why Candace has so much resentment towards me. But listen to the way that she describes how traumatizing it was for her to go on a play date as a young black girl in Connecticut at the home of a wealthy white blonde girl with blue eyes. And she really sees Erica Kirk as that white blonde girl that got everything that she wanted while her mommy and daddy didn't love her. Mommy and daddy didn't love me. And I was jealous of the white blonde girl growing up who had mommy and daddy. So now I'm going to dedicate my life to destroying every pretty white blonde girl that has a happy family because I don't have a happy family.
This is insane, right? Because we heard a part of this. I see Ephra said all the skull measurements coming. I think they might be, Ephra. This country is going insane. I remember just a few years ago, you know, before we continue, I actually talked to Gemini about this. I'm a minority, okay? I'm Hispanic. Now, I've been told I'm white passing. Good luck with that, dude. They can tell you apart, the white people and the black people. Okay, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. My life in this country up until 2010, as a kid, sure, there was some tension. Maybe a little bit of tension. Okay, maybe it was like, we don't like your kind round here. When you take a road trip or something. One guy. Then in 2011, 2013, the woke movement started. Now, whatever the intentions were of the woke movement, we are now on the other side of woke, as Piers Morgan...
Say the N-word, go on.
...likes to say, woke is dead. And now we're on the other side, and this other side is hell.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
I thought the woke was going to help make us nice to each other You know, like it was like, we're all going to get along. Michael Jackson, we are the world. We are the children. Yet every day since woke that I've woken up has been more tension, more racial resentments, more anger. And not from me. I haven't changed a bit. I love everyone. But every day I have to hear something increasingly crazy in regards to, now everyone hates this group or that group. So where is the apology from the people who did woke? And I'm not talking about like the other stuff that people are like, oh, the DEI, whatever. You told me if we did woke, we would all get along. And what we got at the end is everyone at each other's throats. Laura Loomer is over here on the airwaves talking to all the people in America, especially your boomer audience, normalizing calling someone a nappy-headed black ghetto bitch. Why? That was unthinkable in 2011. Before woke, unthinkable, unless it was a joke, because there used to be jokes. And now and this is said in earnest. And I don't understand what the point of woke was, if not to just drive this place insane. I mean, these people ruined it.
These fucking assholes! The fuck is their problem, man?
I'm not being delusional. I'm not saying there weren't ethnic issues and racial issues before woke. I'm just saying it seems like woke made things a lot worse than better. So this country is just insane now. Like, you can't, dude, do you know how many times on the internet, and it doesn't bother me, but it's just confusing to me. I get called brown. I get called the S word. I get called Indian. I'm not even Indian. I get called Jewish. I'm not Jewish. Nothing against them. This is the first insult people are going for now. And I'm like, what happened here? This wasn't like this before. I'm not saying like, oh, the 90s was great. I wasn't alive for the 90s. Okay. I didn't get to experience it as a fully formed adult. But I just remember it wasn't this bad. This is pretty bad. It's ridiculous. Efra says, I just want a functioning country, not 1950s Cuba or 80s Venezuela before everything went to That's how it feels. It really does feel that way, Efra. It really does. From my readings of Venezuela, like, minus the racial element, because that wasn't really a thing there, this is how people talk to each other based on politics down there. And it doesn't end well. And let's see. And kudos to Candace Owens. I'm very deferential to her, even though she's a little crazy, for not exploding. Let's listen to what she has to say. This is what she has to say as a response to this.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. Not really worth unpacking. It's just too insane. I do genuinely believe that she is on the brink of needing to be committed again. But the point in all of these lies, I met someone, who goes to the club who's going to the club in high school? I've never in my life actually been out in Greenwich, Connecticut. Nobody had that kind of money, obviously, as you just mentioned, following that. But this entire thing, you have to recognize what to pull away from this is that she was going on an unhinged racist rant, and then she was able to make a demand that the president of the United States issue a truth social supporting her mania. And it was a demand, I want to be clear, that I am told specifically that Susie Wiles was staunchly opposed to. Credit to Susie Wiles. That she came up against that and said this is a very bad idea. And yet Trump's team overall conceded. The question is why? That's a very important question. Why did Donald Trump concede to a lunatic? There has been, of course, a very long-standing rumor that it's because she has blackmail on him, a rumor that I'm reticent to believe, right, because it's Laura Loomer, but it has something to do with her having relations, that she went on to Air Force One years ago, as we all knew, and then began telling people that she had relations with Donald Trump. Again, it's Laura Loomer, so don't just take it with a grain of salt, take it with a grain of crack cocaine, okay? But the point is, we are now able to demonstrate that she's able to force the administration's hand.
Okay, so there's some speculation, some conspiracy theory there, a little bit, but whatever. At least Candace Owens didn't go right back at her being like, you stupid honky bitch, like saying stuff like that. what is this? This is, when Candace Owens is the most rational, because when she said, listen, I'm not a little baby here, okay? That was pretty racist, okay? I'm not, and I'm telling you, I love everybody. I love even some people that I don't love too much, okay? I don't like Argentinians. I love them. I love them. I judge them as individuals, And Candace Owens, what was the point of woke? What was the point of it? It was just to make everyone racist? I mean, it seems like that's what they accomplished. And as Stephen Miller has said, a system is what it does. What was the point of woke? You just drive everyone crazy? It's crazy stuff, dude. Crazy. Good on Candace Owens for not responding in kind. That is just so base and gross. Just this bit of ugly little freak.
Disgusting and gross. I mean, he should just be. I don't like ugly, stupid freaks.
Me neither, man. Just, if you're going to do this racist thing, like, what? And I'm not even talking, like, there are jokes and stuff, right? This wasn't a joke. This is Laura Loomer insulting Candace Owens on the basis of her race. What? Efra says, whatever the Scandinavians are doing, they are proving to become a superior people. Their integration, especially, I guess they're not Scandinavian, but the Dutch do some interesting integration stuff. They really do. They really do. All right. Let's move on to the next segment. That's just it leaves such a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, just talks like that. Let's get to Slave Watch, man.
I want you to take your knife. Getting him, King? Make it sing.
I'm not gonna fucking blow my life away working.
I want what I can't have.
Get yourself up and get to work right now.
I'm broke as fuck. Rent's due.
Toby, stay. Toby, be good now.
Can't wait to make spreadsheets and send emails.
All right, let's check in on the TikTok plebeian. How are they doing? These are getting bad, dude. This is a indicator of the state of the economy. There's a couple indicators that are unorthodox here that a Baudrillardian's check-in can use. Brother, that guy who went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, there are too many unemployed young men, man. This doesn't happen with... This is a problem of, like, sure, mental health or whatever. Lack of economic growth, ladies and gentlemen. This is not, we have seen so many young men doing insane stuff lately because they don't have a job. There's no jobs available. I mean, good for them, but just, why are you doing all that crazy stuff? Why are you doing it? So let's check in on the state of the TikTok plebeian. It is sad at this point, man. It's sad because even though I'm like, we should be free and all this, like, dude, what I really don't like is that it seems like, I think it's hard. It is definitely hard to reach the end of the Truman Show. But when you've been raised for a particular system, like if you're raised to solve geometric problems, and then the real world is all algebra, you would probably go crazy. And that's what's happening to people. People were raised in this antiquated Byzantine system. I have my school video on the channel. I hated school. School was terrible. That was telling them they had to do this and that, and then everything would work out. Turns out it's not true. It's not true. What are you gonna do?
That's right, run.
And at this point, we've seen, and these are funny, but brother, like, how many times does it take for you to move on, to realize, yes, I was lied to. Let me get creative. Let me figure something out. I chose not to be a slave. Let's watch here. Let's watch our first one here.
I just got denied from Walmart as a cashier. I have a fucking master's degree, bro. I went to school for 12 years. Got my high school degree. I went to for 4 years to get my bachelor's, and then I went for an extra 2 years to get my fucking master's. Do you know how much school that is? It's a lot. And the worst part is, oh, maybe it's the best part actually. America, the government probably thinks it's the best part, huh? I'm $120,000 in debt. Yeah, because society wants to tell you to go to school, go to college, get your degree, Timmy. Oh my God, job security. Shut up. Please stop spreading that, because now I'm screwed and I have no idea what to do. I've applied to over 300 companies and I've gotten responses back from 11 of them. Why the fuck do you think I'm applying to Walmart to be a cashier? Because no one is hiring. Why do you even post a job offering if you're not gonna hire anyone or respond? What are people doing for work? I need to figure something out. Because if I wasn't doing UGC for brands that I found on side shift, my ass would be homeless. I would be fucking homeless.
Yeah, dude, like, you got screwed. This is what I'm not. Look, 300 companies. 300. At what point isn't the definition of insanity trying the same thing, expecting a different result? It is time to move on. It is time to think bigger. I get it. You have that debt. It's hurting you. That debt doesn't feel good. Brother, we need to... I need to make a video about this. I really do. I just don't know how to... I need to make these thoughts more concise. But I just don't get it. If I'm telling you, listen, and it's a lot of sunk cost fallacy. That's the problem. And sunk cost fallacy, for anyone that's not aware, is like, I put so much money into this car, I have to put more into it. You know, no, you don't actually. You don't. You have some debt. That sucks. That is terrible. All right? That's bad. Figure it out. Like, what do you want me to say? Yeah, you made a wrong decision and it wasn't your fault. We'll even give you that. It's not your fault. That's it. I mean, what do we...
You fat, you stink, and you in my country. I'm the top. You can't live in your own country. You're a monkey in your country.
Is that what you want to hear? Like, do you want them to say that to you? The only good thing is, yes, you have a responsibility, if you choose to accept it, to help out the next generation. Tell them, hey, this is how I got screwed. This is what was bad and good. This is what you should do and shouldn't do. But let's grow up. Like, is it a hormonal thing or something? This complaining and crying, and I can't even tell if these are sincere or not anymore because they seem performative. But from my speaking to my fellow friends, they're in the same position where it's difficult to find, okay, well then figure something out. Stop complaining. Stop. Millennials, who I love, complained their whole lives. I remember it vividly. Gen Y was complaining from the time I was 10 years old up until today. They are a whiny generation. They are. And I love them to death, but they're whiny. Every generation has its quirks. The boomers, selfish. Gen X, annoying. Millennials, whiny. Zoomers, irony poison. It got them nothing. They didn't win. That's what I'm not understanding is complaining and complaining. What does that get you? Yeah, dude, life is different. I'm sorry. It's just the way it works. Sorry. Yeah, if you hate it so much, then check out.
Some of them going to sleep. Fuck that!
What is the point of doing this? Let's continue. Let's check in on the other plebeian. Let's see this one here. This one's interesting because it extends to people who have jobs. This is why it really is hell. Whether you have the job or you don't, and you're a young person, you're complaining.
Well, I was having a fun, great day at work until the government pissed me off because I had to file my taxes in like want to die now because all you bitches that are always up in my comments said, oh my God, you don't claim your taxes. I know you don't claim your taxes. One, I do claim my taxes because mom has been trying to buy a house for about 2-3 years now. And so it's always been up and down. So I've been claiming almost every single dollar that I ever make so that I can get approved for a house and I can make enough money and qualify and all that fun, great stuff. So y'all ready for the grand reveal? Y'all ready? Guess how much money I owe in taxes? Y'all want to know? I literally shit my fucking pants. I just had to hit my garden stick to elevate the heart rate, but y'all wanna know how much? $17,000. 17,000.000. I don't really know the change exactly. I do have a meeting with my tax lady in just a few hours here, but oh my gosh, I want to shit my pants. That's so much fucking money. And you know what? I don't own a house. I don't own a car. I mean, I own my car, but I don't own a house. I don't own anything crazy. I would be negative money after paying my taxes, and I don't have any. So I just want to know, how the fuck does one owe so much money in taxes when they got no money?
Now, there's a community note, obviously, that says, owing $17,000 in federal tax for a single fire requires gross income of, oh boy, we ran out of battery. 1 second. While I'm coming back, I mean, what do you guys want? What should I leave while I'm going somewhere? What should I leave? I'll let this play again. We'll do that in the future when I have to change out a battery.
Well, I was having a fun, great day at work until the government pissed me off because I had to file my taxes and I want to die now because all you bitches that are always up in my comments said, oh my God, you don't claim your taxes. I know you don't claim your taxes. One, I do claim my taxes because mom has been trying to buy a house for about 2-3 years now. And so it's always been up and down. So I've been claiming almost every single dollar that I ever make so that I can get approved for a house and I can make enough money and qualify and all that fun, great stuff.
Okay, we're back. Perfect. Owing $17,000 in federal taxes for a single filer requires gross income of about $120,000 with no withholding, well above the U.S. median household income of $83,000. Okay, so are they calling her a liar? How you doing? I hate everything. Listen. Let's take her at her word. She owes 17 G's in taxes. The reason you want not to be a Buddhist here, brother, like she says she's owing these taxes because she wants good tax returns so she could get approved for a home loan. I know Cubans that got here 5 minutes ago that get approved to buy a home. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't understand. There's like this. This is where I'm confused about Americans. I see people show up in this country 5 minutes ago, and they're probably not living the best lifestyle. They're probably not. But they have a Mercedes-Benz, a house in their name, and some business that I don't understand or something. I sell the police department's contractor that sells them their flashlights a piece of wire and it goes in the flash. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I have no idea what you're talking about. But those people are moving ahead and they have a house and you talk to them and they're broke and they're wearing horrible clothing like fake Louis Vuitton. They look like garbage, but they have a house and they have a car, and the car is probably a $3,000 a month payment, but they have it, you know? And then on the other end, we have the TikTok plebeian who is, something's wrong with your accountant, man, or what is going on? People just want to complain. It's all complaining. Item that says, you gotta know how to scam this. Exactly. Like, what are you talking about? What is this lady talking about? Barbers, for example, are making bread. Dude, my barber owns 2 cars. He owns them. He rents an apartment. Probably should have bought it, but whatever. He owns 2 cars. He had another kid last month or 2 months ago, and he came to this country with a kid. You know where he's from? He's a Cuban guy that lived in Uruguay and came here like 4 years ago. Motherfucker's doing better than most people I know. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And this is not me for anyone that's King Leo's talking bad about Americans. I'm not, dude. But I'm just saying something is missing here. A little creativity is missing here. Does Nick Shirley have people thinking that this is going to stop? Like, think, dude. Think. Efra says it's the Protestant ethic. Protestants will not help each other. Is that what? I've been told, my producer told me that Somalis, I don't know if this is how it works in Dearborn or whatever. Nick Shirley didn't investigate this. Have a system where Somalis, because he's lived it with his family, they all pool money and they give it to one person. And they do this like every year. Everyone pools money and they give one person like, I don't know, like 30 grand. You know, it's like a family of like 30 people. Each of them collects $1 grand and they give it to that person. And I know it sounds like weird, but that person uses that money for a down payment, for something, and it works somewhat. Some of them blow it. They go out to the strip club and they're doing the, where is it? Do you think you fell out of the coconut tree? This is what I don't understand. Is it seems like a lot of people have some sort of solution. You know, I'm not asking you not what the government owes you or what you owe the government. I'm just asking you, I feel like there's a solution here that no one is seeing, and I don't know what it is, but I know it's there. All right, let's continue. I don't have to give people the solutions. I guess we'll end with this one. Very similar to the first one here because we have to get to Mr. Kiriakou.
I just got denied a job from Target. I have a fucking bachelor's degree. I spent 4 years on a bachelor's degree. And then my parents in great old America told me, go get your master's degree because that will absolutely solidify you a job. I can't get a cashier's job. I cannot get a minimum wage job. If I was not making money doing UGC on side shift, which literally anybody could do, a 5-year-old, I would be in a ditch. I wouldn't be able to pay to live. So I have to ask America, what are we doing? How are we supposed to make money? How are we supposed to live?
So obviously there's an ad built into this for whatever the hell side shift is. Maybe, I don't know. But regardless, the mythos is more important than the thing, as any Baudrillardian knows. This has 621,000 views. And people are posting that they relate to this. I don't know, dude. I know Brazilian strippers that own 3 condos. And they own them. It's not like, oh, wait, I don't know. I feel like there's a solution. And I'm not saying that it's pretty. I'm not. Listen, before you tell me to shut up.
Shut up, man. Man, listen. You ain't got to say. Listen.
I am an adult. Part of being an adult is accepting things that we do not like. That is perhaps the most fundamental thing that separates children from adults. I'm not telling you that it's pretty or a good idea or what. You are being denied a job from Target. Working for Target sucks. You are not going to be Alex from Target. Remember that. That's a deep, deep cut, man. That's a deep cut before this hell.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
Remember Ellen and the Alex from Target guy? That was crazy. 10 years, maybe 15 years ago at this point. Way back. Target sucks. Now you get to be creative. Now you get to think. Why is everyone... And it's not going to be pretty. Maybe you end up working for some Japanese guy that likes weird octopus stuff or something. But it pays the bills temporarily. I don't know. Bonnie Blue figured it out. So can you. Let's get to the story. Let's get to the stories. All right. For today's story, we have to talk about Mr. John Kiriakou. We all know. No, wait, what the hell is this? We're on the wrong one. We're on the wrong one. We all know who Mr. John Kiriakou is. Okay? John Kiriakou is a former Central Intelligence agent who has made a name for himself as of recent, because my producer's theory is that John Kiriakou hates the CIA. And so what he's doing, because for anyone that's not aware, John Kiriakou was arrested by the CIA for leaking information about the torture program, because, you know, all these people were crying like babies because they did a little waterboarding. I'm kidding. Waterboarding is terrible. You shouldn't do waterboarding. Obviously not. But he was crying like a baby about it, okay? Maybe it's commendable, maybe not. I don't trust CIA agents. If you are delusional enough to trust CIA agents, that's on you. Now, my buddy's position is that, well, not position, his theory is that John Kiriakou is making the CIA look so cringe that people don't join. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But before we get into the actual story itself, I think it's useful if we watch a little bit of this. We've seen these throughout the history of this channel. And finally, there are compilations, because this guy is a comedian. Like, he is a Baudrillardian wizard. He has to be making this stuff up. There's no way. So thank God someone made a compilation here, 2 of them. Let's watch some of this before we really get to see Mr. Kiriakou in the other lens, the serious lens, to see if he's serious.
Doing a meeting, and most of the meetings are going to be either in a hotel or in a car, right? The more sensitive sources you're going to meet in the car, and then just keep driving around. But in a hotel, if they start banging on your door, rip off your clothes and jump into bed, both of you, because you're going to be gay for a minute. So when they finally break down the door, they're like, oh shit, we thought you were meeting because we thought you were CIA, and you're, oh my God, no, you're just gay? And then everybody's okay.
Another one was something. What about that one in Dubai? Do you remember that?
Classic.
You know, we studied that for a long time. They killed a guy in a hotel room in Dubai. And then after they killed him,
They were somehow able to lock the door from the inside of the hotel room.
and we tried like magnets and different ways. We couldn't figure out how they did it. Like a latched door? They did the latch and this one. And the guy's in there dead. And the hotel couldn't even get it open.
Yeah, they ended up sending somebody in from the balcony.
How do they do that? It's very impressive. Wasn't there also something... Okay, first of all, the Israelis never officially claimed responsibility for that. But there was like 26 people that the Dubai CCTV footage picked up. Right. And in Dubai...
They had the most CCTV coverage in the world.
More than the Chinese. But none of them were picked up. No. And number one, people speculate disguises. But I don't know if this is true, but weren't the cameras Israeli made?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
20 minutes after the car.
This has to be a bit. There's no way this is real. These stories are insane. This has to be a bit. How you doing, Jen? Welcome. This has to be a bit. There's no way he's serious. There's no way. What? Let's continue. And you tell me if this doesn't sound like a bit.
Pop warned me about people coming into my room unannounced. These two guys just walk in boldly, just walk in. I jump up, I put my fists up, I go, what do you want? One of them has a swastika on his neck. It took up his entire neck. It came up onto his face. The other one had "fuck you" tattooed on his eyelids.
No, he didn't. What? No, he didn't. He didn't have, there's no way that he did it, that he had, no way. This is a bit. There's no way this is real. This is the longest running CIA comedian program of one more time. Listen to this.
His face. The other one had,
how you doing, ex-cadriller?
"Fuck you" tattooed on his eyelids. So I go, what do you want? And the swastika guy says, you the new guy? I said, yeah, so? And he says, you a fag? I said, no, I'm not a fag. He said, you a rat?
I said, no, I didn't have anybody else in my case. I'm not a rat. And he says, you a chomo? I go, I don't know what that word means. He goes,
why is he still holding the pose? Why is this is a bit? There's no way this is real.
Chomo, child molester. I said, no, I'm not a child molester. And he goes, okay, you could sit with the Aryans in the cafeteria. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm with the Aryans now. Oh, grand. Yeah. And then the guy across the hall from me was the...
That's going to be me when I get my Spanish passport, my first European passport. I guess I'm with the Aryans now.
boss of the Bonanno family.
Make someone disappear without a trace.
You bet they can. And they do all the time.
In the immediate aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, the CIA created, for example, an archipelago of secret prisons.
And they would just disappear people.
We would capture people in Al-Qaeda safe houses, for example, let's say in Pakistan or Afghanistan, and we would ship them off to these secret prisons. And when I say secret prisons, I mean in many cases they were so secret
that even the presidents and prime ministers of the countries where the prisons were based didn't know that there were secret CIA prisons in their countries.
So the CIA can make people disappear in that respect. They can kill people and just
bury them, you know.
How would he be allowed to say this? I'm not trying to be conspirational. Why would he be allowed to say this? Why would he be? He also works for Russia Today. And I'm like, is this now? This is hang on, slow it down for me. I'm Latino and slow, to quote Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm Latino and slow. He works for Russia Today, and he's former CIA, but he went to jail. And he's talking about how bad the CIA is. But who's winning here, actually? Whose agenda is win? What? Let's continue. I mean, he's criticizing Israel, but it's more than that. It's the whole story.
Foreign land and nobody would ever know.
CIA listened through our phones and laptop cameras.
Yes.
I hate to say it. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker
into a microphone
so that they can listen to what's being said in the room, even when the TV is turned off. And what the Israelis did was they got the cell phone numbers of literally every Iranian nuclear scientist. And they had these these Iranian Jews call on their cell phones, call the scientists and say, listen,
you're going to die tomorrow.
Right? We're going to kill you tomorrow. You have no hope.
You're going to die.
How do you know this? How does he know this? There's glare on the glass. Let's take the glasses off for a bit. How do you know this? Okay, I can see. How do you know this, John Kiriakou? How do you know this? I don't get it. I don't. Let's finish this compilation, then we'll get to the story because it's very good. I love it.
Just accept it. Or you can defect to us right now. And they're like, fuck you, and they hang up the phone. Then they call the wives and say, listen, we're going to
kill your husband tomorrow.
So tell him this is his only chance, he's going to die tomorrow. And what they ended up doing is just taking out the entire block of apartment buildings.
They killed 14 nuclear scientists.
That devastates the entire program. And family members as well. They wiped out entire families. And now they're gathering intelligence on the next generation of Israeli scientists. And
again, because he didn't do this unless, I don't know, maybe he did do it serendipit. What would he call it? Covertly. The funny voice, the high pitched, the speeding up, the slowing down of the voice is so effective at virality. Everyone has seen this format at this point that anything he says sounds so silly that you're like, there's no way you can't take it seriously. I can't take anything John Kiriakou says seriously after seeing these edits. And these are all over the internet. How you doing, Franz?
Killing them.
He said, well, to this janitor, things like murder, rape, robbery.
Bestiality.
And the guy says, what was that last one? And my friend says, I knew I had him. He goes, bestiality. The guy says, what's that mean? And my friend says,
it's actually very common.
He says, everybody does it. It's having sex with an animal. And the guy says,
I may have done that a couple, 3 times.
Huh? Run it back. Why are y'all laughing at that? What's so funny about this? This doesn't even make sense. How was bro saying everybody?
It's like 3.
This is an obviously a compilation. Yes, that's the same question I have. There's no way that actually happened. There's no way.
o'clock in the morning, and all these Americans come in dressed as Pakistanis with an Arab
who's bleeding to death from gunshot wounds. And
I said to the doctor, hey, you've got to save this guy because my orders were to take him alive. And he's like,
I don't know what to do. Oh my God. And it's like, no, you got surgery to do, so get cracking.
So they take him in, and we sit down in the waiting room. It's like 4 of us. Well, word got around the Al-Qaeda community that we had gotten him. And so these Al-Qaeda guys began driving by the hospital
and just opening fire on the hospital as they're driving
by. And we're hitting the ground. And I said to Colonel Tark, I said, if they realize how lightly armed we are,
we're dead.
Can you get a helicopter in here? And he said,
I think so.
All right, that's enough for now. We'll come back to these at the end. The reason I have to show you that is because, okay, so, I'm sorry, it's actually really common bestiality. What the hell are you talking about? Anyway, this is bananas. It is bananas, Jen. It is. I just. All right.
Oh, hang on.
Take it back. All right. So, John Kiriakou, I've actually seen him for a few years. I remember maybe like 8 years ago or something when I read about his case, because I read about CIA leakers and all this. And I remember he did like a 60 Minutes or CBS interview when they arrested him and he was going to go to jail. And he talked about the torture report. They kind of made a movie. Yes, absolutely sensational.
Sensational.
They made a movie about his disclosures called, I don't even remember what it's called, dude. It's with Adam Driver in it. It's called Disclosure, I think. It's a terrible movie, very bad, where Dianne Feinstein, who was the one who helped John Kiriakou this whole thing sounds so shady because he wanted to expose torture because he said torture doesn't work. All right. Anyway, he has been appearing on Russia Today for several years. And now, as a more recent, in the last 2 years, on the podcast circuit, on these podcasts, as we've seen the rise of several CIA podcasters like Andrew Bustamante, Mr. Kiriakou. I'm sure there's other ones that I don't, they probably escape me at the moment. But we have seen a push for, I mean, what's Mike Baker, the Joe Rogan CIA guy? CIA guys are all over the podcast field. And I'm always suspicious of them. I always am. And Mr. Kiriakou has achieved virality like no other because Bustamante had virality last year for a little bit, but it kind of went away. But these memes have helped him stay relevant. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about on these podcasts? Yesterday he spoke with Jay Dyer. I like Jay Dyer, actually. His book, Esoteric Hollywood, I like it a lot. It's very good. It's a little kooky, but I like it. I like all of them. I have the first 2. I've read those. Very good. But let's see this TikTok here who's reacting to what Kiriakou says, because I think it actually serves the purpose to see how someone who is probably like a normie reacts to the information that Kiriakou is just saying now. Let's see how they react. All right, let's see what he said and how people are reacting to it. Because I'm very, very confused as to what his agenda is here.
In a shocking interview with Jay Dyer, ex-CIA officer John Kiriakou points to possible Israeli ties to 9/11. Check this out.
Do you think most major terror events have a kind of connection to a state or to some other type of entity, or is it organic?
Yes, I think most of them probably are connected to a state in some way. I mean, look at 9/11, right? I mean, 9/11 was carried out by Al-Qaeda. We know that. But who was behind Al-Qaeda, right? Clearly, it was the Saudi government. And I believe very strongly that the Israelis knew exactly what was going to happen, exactly when it was going to happen. But it was to Israel's benefit that the United States be attacked so that the U.S. would respond by killing 2 million Muslims over the next 20 years, which is exactly what we did. We created chaos in Iraq and chaos in Syria and chaos in Libya and now chaos in Iran. And that's to Israel's benefit.
Now, before Dave Smith gets in here and he's like, yes, I love the Mises Institute and John Kiriakou. Aren't you a little suspicious of this claim? Look, I don't know what happened on 9/11. As Ilhan Omar once said, some people did something. I don't know. I don't know who did it. And you don't know either. Let's be clear. You don't know what happened on 9/11. I'm sorry. You will never know. It's unfortunate. However, of course, the links to Saudi Arabia were in that report. I remember that was a whole big deal, the 17 pages, blah, blah, blah. And over the past few years, there has been speculation that has become mainstream that Israel was involved. We've seen this all over. I think even Tucker Carlson, of course, Mr. Fuentes talks about this. I don't know if this is true or not. However, that's not what's important. What's important here is, if you're conspiracy minded, first of all, how is he alive after saying? That's if you're a conspiracy head, you're like, they get people for, let me do Ron DeSantis doing Hakeem Jeffries. They be getting people for talking all that crazy, all that crazy shit, okay. If you weren't here earlier, my governor did an imitation of Hakeem Jeffries. It sounded just like that. It was probably 100% accurate for, the people that were here for it. Anyway. That's Ron DeSantis doing Hakeem Jeffries, not me doing Hakeem Jeffries. If I were doing Hakeem Jeffries, it'd be a lot better than how Ron DeSantis did it. They be arresting people and killing them for saying this kind of shit. Listen. Let's be clear here. Why would the Mossad allow this? Why would the CIA allow this? Do you not think this is damaging to the credibility of the United States on the international field to have a former CIA agent coming out here and saying that Israel was involved in 9/11? I mean, aren't you a little bit suspicious of that claim? Not the claim itself. Maybe you believe it totally, and that's fine. I'm just saying, aren't you suspicious that John Kiriakou is saying this? And I'm not asking you a leading question. I'm literally not telling you what to think. How you doing, CCTV? But I just don't understand what is cui bono here. Like, who wins? This seems to be incredibly damaging to the reputations of Israel and the United States. And I've been told that's a dangerous thing to do, but he's fine, All this while he's working for Russian state media. And a lot of people are not aware that if you worked for Russian state media, I don't know how he's still doing it. Joe Biden made that illegal. Rick Sanchez got in trouble for it. It was some weird law they put in where you couldn't work directly for Russian sources or anything like this, even if your show had nothing to do with the war in Ukraine. So does Russia benefit here? I don't even know if Russia benefits here because he says he criticizes Russia. We'll get to that. But I would like to hear people having theories, because who is winning this? Cui bono. Oh, true. What is the point of this? Like, who is saying this? Iron Hammer, that's not even a bad theory. And that's kind of in line with my producer saying, like, is he making this whole thing, whether it's true or not, a big joke? Like, is everything a huge joke? Because this is pure gesture, And before we continue, what I have noticed over the years is a lot of these people that have left government institutions like Kiriakou, and my producer is the one who pointed it out, are people that look like they were probably mid-level. Like they were probably not in charge because they weren't either smart enough or rubbed the right shoulders, smacked the right asses, pulled the right members. They weren't doing what had to be done to get promoted. And John Kiriakou strikes me as that type. So I don't even know about the validity of this information because he has these crazy stories. I got Abu Zubaydah. How are you allowed to talk about this? Why? Anyway, let's continue. Let's keep watching. This is a real gesture maxing. This is on Megyn Kelly because he used to do. There's a couple podcasts. I think they're called Julian Dory is one of them, and another one who are like these two young guys that are like young white guys that interview feds and former feds and stuff like this. I don't watch that kind of stuff because I watched JFK as a kid, so I don't really care anymore. Feds, like, before we continue, and this is my skepticism, any federal agent is a liar. And not just federal agents, cops, attorneys, and reporters are all liars by default. CIA is just being a super cop. So what is the point? Like, why would they not lie to you? They lie their whole life is lying. Do you know every CIA agent is divorced because they lie to each other so much? Including John. And I'm not judging him, but I'm just saying this Greek unk over here is out here just yelling. And let's watch because this is like Balkan cab driver level stuff that's being said by a former CIA agent, not head.
In all the years that I was in the CIA, literally every time an Israeli prime minister came to the United States, and they come all the time, regardless of who happened to be the president, whether it was Ronald Reagan all the way into Donald Trump's first term, every single Israeli prime minister would come and say, please bomb Iran, please bomb Iran, please bomb Iran. And every president would say, no, we're not going to bomb Iran, until this president. And the Israelis from 1986, the Israelis have been saying that the Iranians were 6 months away from a nuclear bomb. Just simply not true. The CIA in the last 20 years has written 2 national intelligence estimates. Now, this is a sense of the entire intelligence community, concluding both times that the Iranians did not have a nuclear weapons.
Now, I like this clip because if you close your eyes and you listen to this again, let's just do this. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to listen to this again. But I want you to imagine the voice is more annoying. There are a million extra words being put in there. And they mention the words Mises, libertarianism, the Libertarian Party, New Hampshire, bloodthirsty warmongers. And you will picture in your mind Dave Smith.
In all the years that I was in the CIA, literally
it's Dave Smith. How are you doing, sir? My good friend Dave Smith. This is Dave Smith. And I'm not saying, listen, because this either means that Dave Smith is really smart or John Kiriakou is really dumb, or we're meeting somewhere in the middle here. You're a former CIA agent and everything you're saying is what Dave Smith says. So what's going on? Like, who is Dave Smith also a CIA agent? Because you guys seem to have the same amount of available information. It just sounds like Dave Smith. I don't know if Dave Smith, maybe I didn't give him enough credit. Maybe I need to apologize to him. I'm sorry, Dave Smith.
That's right, Ron.
But, I'm sorry, man. Maybe you were smarter because now we have the CIA agent and he's saying the same exact shit. Okay. All right, let's continue. This is him doing an interview with Michael Franchese, who I will remind you before we do this, is a criminal, a half a criminal, probably a murderer, allegedly a murderer. This guy was involved. He won't answer questions about murders or anything like this because he was possibly involved in them. In the mafia, bad dude. Michael Franchese, listen, I have no problem if you want to listen to him, but pretending that this guy is anything other than a 2-bit thug is something like people, dude, he's a psychopath. He was in the mafia. And that's fine. You know, I can't say that. Have I met anyone that was in the mafia? I have seen some of the Trafficante family descendants in Tampa. I don't think they're in the mafia. I just don't, you know, whatever. Effer says, yeah, also what King Leo's video today about literacy was very revealing. Thank you, Effer. I appreciate that. If you guys saw the new video, please like, comment, subscribe on it. That really helps with the algo. And also, if you watch it on your phone, I think, or your tablet, if you hit the hype button, that helps a lot. I've been waiting to make that video. I've been wanting to make that video for a long time. I hope it does the numbers I think it can do, but it seems like dumb stuff does more numbers. But I like that video a lot. That's one of my favorite, that's one of my favorite topics, literacy. He was in the mafia, and that's fine. It's quite clippable. We need a clip. I need to start clipping. I'm just lazy about it. I don't know how they do it, these other people. All right, let's watch him here talking to this 2-bit criminal, which it makes sense because the CIA is a bunch of criminals.
So I have a friend who is close to the president, and I said to him at the time that the documents were released, about a year ago, I said, thank God that the president finally released the remaining documents. And he said, no, he didn't. I said, yeah, he did. He was compelled by law. Congress passed a law twice compelling the president to release all documents related to the Kennedy assassination. He said, there are 10,000 documents that are never going to be released. And I said, why? And he said, because every single one of them points directly at Israel. And I said, oh man, that's not one that I was thinking of. He says that the Israelis were so angry that A, John Kennedy wouldn't give them nuclear technology, but more importantly, B, he was actively trying to disrupt the Israelis from acquiring nuclear technology, and they decided they had to take him out.
I want you to try to think back like 10 years ago, whenever a CIA agent was interviewed about aliens or JFK, do you remember what it was like? They used to say that I can't talk about that, actually. Not allowed to talk about it. Sorry, that's classified. I don't know. Obfuscation. Okay? How are you getting away with saying this? And look, I've heard this theory that Israel was responsible for the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I have met people that were possibly involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I live in South Florida. You can run into them at the cafe. I used to go to the Bay of Pigs Museum a lot in college and met a lot of people that were somewhat tangentially involved in it. Okay? I never once was that mentioned. It's going to be skewed because it's Cubans, right? And they're talking about Cuba. However, what? I mean, I just, how is this being said publicly is my question. I see Iron Hammer says, I think it's just vote to go for the clicks, right? Like it's just Israel's in the news. Like people like to talk about it. That's possibly true, right? I mean, that makes sense, but this is lending credence because of his prestige, his background. Like this is a notable person who worked at the CIA, at least in the minds of popular culture. Why is he allowed to say this is my question. If it were so important, dude, if you had, I promise you this. And I'm not a conspiracy head, but I promise you this. If you knew who actually killed Kennedy, I'm not talking about and blah, blah, blah. If you knew and you had, let's say, a video of it, like a film of it, a real film of the thing, I think you would end up dead or something, or paid off. Like, there's no way you won the lottery, you know? There's no way you get the Michael Hastings treatment, right? There's no way that that's allowed for you to say. So I don't know what this is. Let me see. Wait, let's go check the chat because there's a lot of theories in here. Jen says he's a toad. Do you mean Franchisi? Yeah, I don't like this guy, Jen. I don't like. I'll check that out, J-Boss, because I've seen clipping, but just not in the style that I've seen for Twitter. All right. Dude, this guy looks so Greek. I have to disagree. This guy looks hella Greek, bro. This is the most Greek looking. He looks just like Jamie Dimon, who's Greek too, you know. I mean, maybe it's my experience with Greeks. I haven't met a lot of Greeks. Been to the Turkish airport. I bet there were a lot of Greeks in there that think they're Turkish. First says, best video by King Leo so far. No disrespect, the realization just hit different. I would say world-shattering, realizing people are dumber than what you assumed. Thank you, Efra. I don't take offense to that at all. I appreciate that we're moving forward. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is. Dude, you guys should watch that video if you haven't. I put in work for that. I've been following that literacy study for years since I first found it because I read parts of Emile. I did not read all of Emile through Rousseau, and that's how I was introduced to the idea of, he was like, you shouldn't read till you're 14. And I was like, what? I almost bought a first edition of Emile in in Florence, which is a terrible city. I really don't like Florence, but they have a really good bookstore. But when I saw Rousseau saying that you shouldn't teach kids how to read, I was like, I'm curious about this. And there used to be these old studies by the NAAL. Those are crap. But these new ones show you that people cannot read. They cannot read. All right, let's see this thing. CCTV says, all right, CCTV, let's cool it there. That's a little crazy. That's not good for the algo. Let's cool it.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
All right, I get it. We allow all people on here. You know, we have leftists, rightists, groypers. It's fine. Brother, please cool it in the chat. Cool it in the chat, please. J Boss says the Greeks are more angular, less watery phenotype. Maybe it's Greek Americans then. I've always pictured Greeks as very round people, you know? Jen says gyro and hummus look for show. Where is it?
Do you waterboard him? Do you sleep deprive him? Do you put him in a cold cell? Do you beat him? Do you put cockroaches on him? Do you put hummus up his ass?
I wanted to show this clip here. This is an older clip, okay? Okay, this is an older clip. This is him talking to Bustamante, who I like Bustamante. You know why? Because Bustamante is former CIA. And he's a psychopath. And he actually admits it. And he's like, yeah, dude, I loved killing for the government. It was my favorite thing to do. I loved making people's lives hell for the United States. It was my whole goal was to make the rest of the world shittier so that we were better. Yeah, I don't want to help our allies. I want to destroy them, actually. I want us to be in charge of the whole world. And you may disagree with Andrew Bustamante, but at least it's consistent. This, woe is me. Yeah, dude. They took down governments. You don't think they'll do a little torture? Torturing people, I can't do it. Why? How is that a revelation to you? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Are you dumb? So I like when a psychopath remains a psychopath. All right, let's see here. This was a great confrontation between the two. That a lot of people, I even saw that Winston guy saying that, this is how John Kiriakou defends himself and owns Andrew Bustamante. I'm like, no, he didn't. Andrew Bustamante is just a psychopath. And if you join the CIA and you're not a psychopath, which I don't believe you would if you're not a psychopath, but if you do and you're not, well, then you should probably just retire and be quiet. All right, let's watch this. Let's just watch this here.
So they let me say anything I want. I've never, ever received any pushback. and I make a handsome living. Like I've always said, if CNN's got an offer, or MSNBC, or even Fox, I'm on Fox at least every other week. I'm all ears. But, 5 kids, 3 of whom still need to get through college, I make no apologies.
So then when you became a sworn officer of the United States, what was your intention? Was your intention to make the United States, to like protect and expand the superiority of the United States, or was it something else? Did you think you were making a better planet? Because you have to know that by affiliating your name with Russian state media, you might get to say anything you want, but that doesn't mean that's what goes to air. When it gets translated into Russian, it can be whatever they want it to be.
It's a live show. It's in English.
It's an internet show, right?
It's terrestrial.
Also broadcast.
But they're going to have the rights to make out of it whatever they want to make out of it. And your name and your affiliation that is exactly the foundation for how Russian covert influence operations happen.
Aww.
That is actually true. I got curious about that from Richard Spencer. That is how Russian state operations traditionally through the Cold War and now operate. And it's not surprising. One of the most important moments of my college life was when I got scammed into a master's degree. I took this class called Writing for Business. Don't remind me. But anyway, this was the only guy who taught me something of value. And he was arrogant, he was annoying, but he said something that was really interesting. He told us about how the difference between, if I'm not mistaken, this was a story, Chinese and Vietnamese re-education camps for American POWs during the Vietnamese War. And what he told us was that in the Vietnamese camps, you got the John McCain treatment. You got in there, they're beating your ass. That's what they're doing. They're in there just hitting you, they are just destroying you. They are hurting you. It is not a good time. There are no ribs.
Gotta have them ribs. And pussy too.
It's a bad time in a Vietnamese camp. But he told us in the Chinese camps, and this is confirmed, this is real, what they used to do is they'd be like, come here, my brother. No, how do Chinese people? Come here, American GI. You are a good friend. Come here. You will have a good meal. Just write an essay for me, please. Now I became Hispanic. They're like, write an essay for me. I'm Chinese. And you'd go, all right, what's the essay about? Do I have to denounce my country? Absolutely not, sir. All you have to do is write an essay where you say one thing that bothers you about capitalism. Just one thing. You talk about how good it is, but I want one thing that bothers you about capitalism. They'd be like, all right, I need food. I'll write it. You write the essay or you eat your food. It's very good, gentlemen. And they would do this with the officers. Now, can you please stand and read the essay to the other people? And they would put the privates in the lower ranks there. And this guy would read this essay that's like pro-America, rah, and it would say, however, I do think that there's an issue with capitalism, which is that we don't have full health insurance coverage. And I had a friend who fell off a roof and his family went bankrupt because they had to take care of him. And so forth. The CIA and the Defense Department, when these people got back, when they were rescued from these camps, was so concerned. This is where the idea of the Manchurian Candidate comes from, if I'm not mistaken. Because these people were coming back and they would do assessments of whether they were as loyal to America as when they left. And they were all more disloyal. They were more disloyal. It didn't turn out to be a big deal, but you see how propaganda works. When you have someone of prestige, of high caliber, saying something critical of the system that they know while not hating it entirely, it is very effective. And the Russians taught this to the Chinese, and the Russians still use it to this day. So I don't think Andrew Bustamante is off base saying this. Let's continue.
Whatever they want it to be.
It's a live show. It's in English.
The internet show, right?
It's terrestrial.
Also broadcast.
But they're going to have the rights to make out of it whatever they want to make out of it. And your name and your affiliation that is exactly the foundation for how Russian covert influence operations happen.
Aw, poor CIA. There's a former CIA guy working for the Russians. He may do some damage to the American government. Fuck the American government. What have they done for me? What have they done for my children?
Do you really
besides
do you really,
violate my rights?
Do you really not know the answer to that?
Come on, man. It was the CIA that put me in prison. What in the world do I owe this?
Yeah, because you exposed them for torture. That's all that you are. I'm not saying whether it was okay or not. I'm a prison abolitionist. But I'm calling balls and strikes here. If John Kiriakou had just kept his head low, not said jack shit, worked at the CIA, found something he didn't like, kept it to himself, changed departments, waited to retire, got his pension, he would probably be on Fox News making a hell of a lot of money. But he did this instead.
It was
CIA.
your decisions that put you in prison.
It was the CIA's lawbreaking that put me in prison.
It was your choice to highlight the CIA's lawbreaking to media that put you in prison.
There we go. So we're in agreement then.
Your children's, they live every day under the protection of the United States. They have all the benefits of American citizens. You get to enjoy. You're here on an American podcast. You flew on an American airline. You're staying in an American protected hotel.
What do you think my children's memories are?
Police officers driving around the streets right now. All of these people are contributing to the freedoms that you have.
Oh, wow.
All of them.
Wow.
And you're sitting here saying
you're a true believer.
I'm a true believer in the fact that we have to serve the American dream. We have to serve the American purpose. That's what we're here to do.
And that's exactly what I'm doing by opposing the American government.
You're a true believer. Yeah, because he joined the CIA because he's a psychopath. Obviously. Yeah, he's a true believer. Psychopaths that joined the CIA, and you joined the CIA too. So you were a true believer at some point too. And I don't know when that stopped being the case because, dude, like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I don't know. Now, we're doing all this because, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to watch this. This is the latest with Patrick Bet-David. So you could see how he just kind of makes stuff up too. I think this is what's instrumental here. He went on the Patrick Bet-David podcast. Patrick Bet-David, the numbers guy. Let's just watch the beginning here.
But I want to get into one thing right off the bat. You were on a podcast and my phone started blowing up. And I'm like, why is everybody texting me this? Look what John said about you. I said, John is about to get on the podcast. So, Rob, if you have the clip, I want to start off with this. I want to address it one by one by one. I want you to cover this for me. So you're on a podcast. I don't know which podcast this is, but whatever it is, I was texted by everybody with this. So go ahead and play this clip.
I was watching Patrick Bet-David yesterday, and Patrick is a hardcore Zionist. He's Iranian. I don't think he's Jewish. I think he's like half Assyrian and half Armenian.
Yeah. Hang on.
But he's a hardcore Zionist, and not just a Zionist. He is a 1,000% backer of Reza Pahlavi to return to Iran and to assume the Peacock throne and blah, blah, blah. And he was saying yesterday that it's not 60% of the Iranian people who support the overthrow of the regime. It is 94%. And
I don't know when I've ever said that, but okay, let's keep going.
Am I wrong?
There are no polls. Hang on,
there are no polls. You just make this shit up to put your stooge in.
The monarchists are crazy online. I mean,
they are.
I saw some, they've been passing along the message that Iran only became Muslim 100 years ago.
What?
No, that was 1,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago, yes. And I get that there are still Zoroastrians, and I get all that.
Which is the funniest part.
Elliot Covert, Patrick Bet-David is Jewish? Okay, I stand corrected. I wasn't sure.
You're not Jewish. No, I'm not Jewish.
But I know he's not ethnic Persian. He's
What
Armenian,
else is there, Rob?
Assyrian.
Is there anything else that goes on?
Yeah,
or
94% of his friends.
Curious to know, because I want to get all of it out.
Well, that's what they
I'm
do,
a big
right?
fan
Literally,
of yours.
I've been asking online, like from these, these Persian monarchists.
See, this is what I get for listening to people in the chat.
Everybody wants the Shah back. I find that very hard to believe, considering how brutal the Shah was, and the fact that he was over.
Okay, so let's see here when they get to talking.
By the way, an apology.
No, but tell me this. It's not, I don't want an apology. I enjoy talking to you. Last time we spoke, I think out of the 7 clips that we posted, 3 of them was upset Jews because it was comments you made that were bad against Mossad, and we played. I thought it was very revealing. I thought it was great. But walk me through each of these. Number 1, hardcore Zionist, 100% backer of Pahlavi, and then 94%. Tell me.
Okay, the reason I said that is because of Netanyahu's appearance, number 1.
Yep.
And the comments that you made about Pahlavi, like, why hasn't this guy called me back? I want him on the show. Like, why? He's irrelevant. He's a clown.
Why hasn't he called me back? I had him on the show 2 times.
Yeah, but when you first...
This is, and we are normally making a lot of fun of Patrick Bet-David on this, and I'm not shedding any tears because Patrick knows the game. He's having fun with this. He's making his money. If you are in the CIA, okay, it's not the FBI. You're not like a national cop, but you're kind of a cop. You get cop training. You are basically you're an investigator. This man here found Abu Zubaydah, supposedly. You are an investigator. And he is mouthing off about Patrick Bet-David's political beliefs based on literally circumstantial evidence. He's saying, I thought you were a Zionist because Benjamin Netanyahu went on your podcast. And I thought you were pro-Pahlavi because you said you wanted to get him back on your podcast. Listen, man. I don't know if that's true or not. I really don't. Maybe you and I can make that. We can make that assumption for sure. Because you and I, let's face it. Let's face it. We're not that smart.
Because I'm fucking stupid.
Right, we're normal people. We're not that smart. All right. We're not that smart. But a former CIA guy who is an investigator cannot make such assumptions unless you're proving that you're probably a shitty investigator. I mean, that's just my conclusion. To make an analogy, if you have, I don't know, like a brother who is a police officer, and you're at the family dinner, it's Thanksgiving, and your in-laws are over, and I don't know, your sister-in-law posted a picture on Instagram of her drinking a margarita in Mexico, and your cop brother got up and started yelling at her and saying, you are cheating on your husband because you're in Mexico drinking margaritas. And I know that's why you're down there to drink margaritas and fuck. You would go, excuse me, brother, get the fuck out of my house. You're crazy. I thought you were a cop. I thought you investigated people. You're just jumping to conclusions? So I don't know. I don't see how this is useful information. You have proven that you are not discerning, and that's probably why the CIA locked you up, to be honest. Because now you're making me doubt that the information you leaked is accurate. I don't know if Patrick Bet-David is a Zionist. Maybe we should ask him. Or if he's a Pavlovist. Maybe we should ask him. I don't know, because I don't follow him. I don't know. And to say on the show, oh, I guess he's Jewish, because like some chatter tells you. You didn't say, I'm going to look into it or anything. You said, okay, I guess that's true. I stand corrected. Ankh here, Greek Ankh, is not giving me a lot of confidence in his ability to discern. Efra says, I don't trust either side. The problem with Kiriakou is he's definitely a Russian agent or at least a useful idiot. But that's the thing, Efra. I don't see him as a useful idiot because if he's a useful idiot, then he is as dumb as we're saying, at least in this part here. But does the CIA really hire dumb people? That's my question. Like, do they hire dumb people? Because if not, he's playing dumb. So he's not really a useful idiot. He's just useful playing the idiot. And that's a little bit more insidious, to be honest. CCCV says, I just know PBD, whatever the name guy is evil. Look at his shape of his face. Look, man, PBD is one of the greatest grifters to ever do it, sir. One of the greatest. So we're going to end here with, yeah, dude. Wow, we're making good time. We're going to end here with his appearance on Tucker Carlson. Because he went on there, and let's just watch some of this, because this is, you've already heard me, what he says about Israel and all that. It's fine, whatever, I don't care. Q comments, King Leo is a Zionist. Okay, well, I'm not. I don't have an opinion on this. I'm sorry I don't have an opinion on the Israeli conflict. I'm Hispanic and slow. I'm sorry. I don't think about that thing. Okay? If I would think about it, what do you want me to do? You want me to have an opinion? So what? What am I supposed to do about it? Please tell me. Enlighten me. Okay. He got the $7,000. He works for the SPLC. I get accused of being a fascist and being a Zionist and being a communist every day. Anyway, this is him talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This guy, as far as I'm aware, was not there. He did not participate in the investigation. Well, let's hear his opinion on it. Let's see what the thoughts are. This is interesting stuff. Someone who uses circumstantial evidence. thank God that John Kiriakou is not a judge, because if he was a judge, he would put you in jail with very little evidence. Maybe it's the Greek in him.
After this war began, the head of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, resigned. In his resignation letter, he said, I believe, he didn't say this in his letter, he said it in an interview with me shortly after the next day.
We have to be incredibly careful, actually. We can't play. Actually, thank God I remembered. We can't play this. We can't play this. We can't play this. Let me see if I can find a Twitter clip. We will get in trouble for playing that, actually. Remember last time they took the stream down for like 15 minutes because of that. Let me see here if someone has clipped it, because on Twitter, it usually doesn't give me the issues. This sucks, dude. I hate this. Well, I don't hate Greek people. I really don't. I find that Greek people, look, I don't have any problems with Greeks. I don't have a problem with Greeks. I really don't. I'm not being... What if we just play the audio, actually? What if we do that? What if I pull up a picture of him and we play the audio? I wonder if we would get in trouble. Yeah, let's just do that. I don't have a problem with Greek people. I just, like, for example, something that bothers me about Greek people is you don't get to wreck the economy of Greece, and then I have to listen to a Greek guy, Jamie Dimon, explain my economy to me in America. I'm sorry, dude. You guys can't handle it over there. How would I know you could handle it over here? You know, maybe I'm being a little silly, but isn't that a little weird? You know, like, you guys can't even have an economy over there, you know? So why are you telling me about banking here? Jamie Dimon. Your real name, what's his real name, dude? Let me look it up. I always make fun of it. What's his actual name? Let me tell you what Jamie Dimon's real name is. What's Jamie Dimon's real name? Because I saw him in person at this conference here in Miami, and I was like, look, his real name is Papademetriou. What the hell is Jamie Papademetriou talking to me about the Federal Reserve? The Federal Reserve in Greece is broke. What? Anyway, but yeah, Jamie Dimon. Most of it comes from him. But I saw him at this conference thingy speaking, and I was like, this guy doesn't look Anglo. What is he? And then I was like, oh, he's Greek. That's crazy. Anyway, let's listen to him.
Any inside information. I don't know. But I would not be surprised if a person or multiple people got into the president's ear and said, this isn't a coincidence that there were these three events. There were these three events because the Iranians are behind it. They've got these cells. They're around the United States. We can't identify them. We can't catch them, but they're gunning for you. And Charlie Kirk was, a practice hit, or Charlie Kirk was a message, or whatever. And I wouldn't be surprised if the president would believe something like that. If people he trusts are telling him there's a problem and the problem originates in Iran, whether it's true or not, that he would respond to that.
A lot of people did tell him that. That's a fact. I can confirm it. People told him Iran is out to kill you. The Butler assassination attempt, Iran was behind it. People were saying that. Fact. Mm-hmm. But where that theory falls down is with the Charlie Kirk assassination. So if you were trying to claim that the Iranians were behind it, and there were leads from the National Counterterrorism Center, or the ODNI, that suggested foreign involvement, who knows if they go anywhere, you would follow up on those leads.
You would have to follow up on those leads.
But they shut them down. Yes. And that's a fact. And, it doesn't make you a reckless conspiracy theorist or evil to ask, what is that? Why wouldn't you follow up on those leads?
I'm one of these people that believes that in almost all cases, the simplest explanation is probably the correct one. But when word came out, thanks to Joe Kent and his brave actions and revelations, that he was not permitted to follow up on these leads. Well, call me a conspiracy theorist, but that's the only place I can go.
Well, what's the answer?
There had to be...
Okay. And this is the CIA industrial complex with this. Greek John Kiriakou here is citing one of his CIA buddies, Joe Kent, worked for the CIA, as the reason why he knows he actually has an excuse to be a conspiracy theorist. Sensational. Absolutely great. When you have an excuse, he gets the excuse because his CIA buddy, who's now a podcaster in waiting, he's been on a bunch of podcasts. The reason is that his buddy who worked at the CIA, who was a former CIA agent, is saying something to the press. And it's like, what the hell? So now this is just a bunch of CIA chatty Cathys. Is this American foreign policy? A bunch of chatty Cathys yelling about the CIA? What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? So I don't know if he's a PsyOp or not, but at the very least, he is, as Ephra says, possibly a useful idiot, like genuinely a dummy. And at the very most, he could be a PsyOp, like some sort of, I mean, look, at the very least, he's like, I don't know, like the Forrest Gump of the CIA. You know, he's just like, he's too dumb to get away, okay? Like, he's too dumb to get caught or anything like this. He's just like a chill guy. He's cool, Greek uncle, Jamie Dimon, and Greek uncle Johnny Kiriakou, Jack Kiriakou, and Jamie. Jack and Jamie, you know, great stuff for them. You know, that they're cool, I guess, right? But the reality is that's very unlikely and improbable, in my opinion. That's very improbable. I see this much more likely that this is like there's something going on here that no one is talking about, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a Russian useful idiot situation. I don't know if it's American 6D chess. I don't know if it's John Kiriakou trying to hurt the recruitment numbers. But we'd have to deconstruct it here to say, like, dude, if you are buying every single word this guy's saying, because he's a very compelling, that's the other thing, he could just be a stand-up comedian. Is there any evidence he worked for the CIA? He could just be a stand-up comedian, deep cover stand-up comedian, who's very funny, but maybe there is, maybe there's not. Like, I don't get it. CCTV, yes, they're splitting reality. Yeah, that's the whole thing. They control the show and characters, write the scripts. Look, I don't want to, not to quote John Kiriakou, I don't want to become a conspiracy theorist, but this is an odd duck to be out there. So let's just end with some of his greatest comedy hits. This is part 2 of the compilation. I know you guys are going to love this. Let's watch this. If there's anything, at least he's funny. At least he's funny.
He's gay. I'm 100% sure he's gay. So then we started this conversation, headquarters and I. How can we use that to our benefit?
Did he have a wife?
No.
He was single.
Which was unusual at his age.
How did you know he was gay?
Oh, I just, it was a vibe.
Okay.
So.
You see, he can just accuse people of being gay and Zionist or whatever with no evidence. It's a vibe. It's a vibe that he's gay. Dude, like, if you had me guess who gay people based on vibes, I would assume the whole island of England, Wales, and Scotland was a bunch of gay people by their accent. You know, I would think their accent makes them gay. So I wouldn't trust myself, but you know, Ephra says, you don't know what's real. That's why schizo dealers so successful now in the day. Yes, absolutely. And this is a charming, charismatic, funny schizo dealer, but nonetheless a schizo dealer. Completely agree. I don't know what is real anymore, but you are right. Schizo dealers are not a solution. Definitely not a solution. Definitely not a solution. I think this stuff is damaging to the mental health of a lot of people in the country. I really do.
Headquarters says, we want you to pretend that you're gay. I said, oh, come on, you guys. No, we really need the information. You got to pretend that you're gay. I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it for Uncle Sam.
Are hitmen real?
Yes.
At the National Security Council, there is a committee that meets every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock to drop something called
the kill list.
They sit around a table and they make a list of all the people that they want to kill that week. And then they take it back to the CIA, which has a
dedicated unit.
I won't tell you the name, but it has a dedicated unit that takes receipt of the list. They say, okay, number 1. They drive to the airport, they get on the plane, they go out to that country.
They kill the person.
They come back, and then they go to number 2 on the list. That happens every single week. Now, we can have a conversation about whether that's right or whether it's wrong.
It's certainly immoral. It's illegal.
But it's been tasked by the president. At the same time, they will tell you,
there hasn't been another 9/11, has there?
Maybe it's because we're out there killing people. What kind of people would be on that list? Oh, the most dangerous terrorists in the world.
Or at least people that the CIA deems to be the most dangerous terrorists in the world.
Can you say what he did to trigger the meeting? I asked him if he had access to a target. And he said, not today.
But I could fuck her if I wanted to.
I said, get out of here. He goes, she's been flirting with me for 40 years. I said, well, she has something that I want.
This is a bit. That's the thing I keep falling back. This has to be a bit. This is too funny. As CCTV says, you realize he's calling the other guy gay across the... Yeah, because he's British, right? Like, he sounds gay, the Diary of a CEO guy. And everything he says is like, this is a bit. There's no way these stories are real. There's no way. They get increasingly ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. I agree, CCTV, dude. Like, I assume everything he says is a lie. I really do.
Can you get close enough to her to get it? And he said, yeah. I said, then get it. So he triggered the meeting to say,
He fucked her, and she gave him everything that I had asked for, and he wanted to give it to me.
I said, you're a dog, you know that? You're like an animal. I said, you're an old man. You're older than my father, I told him. And you're
Banging women to get information from them? He's like, this is the life we've chosen for ourselves. I said, okay, all right. No need to get dramatic about it now.
I fucking love this guy. I love him. I Googled him a few years ago, and he died. He died about 10 years ago. I was sorry to see, but he was a genuinely good guy.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Well, one last one. How about this one?
Secret about spy tech, and it is that 95% of it
is purchased from Amazon.com.
Seriously, because it is cheaper and it is quicker just to go online and buy it and then use it operationally than it is to invent it from scratch.
Do you think Jeffrey Epstein was a spy?
I believe very strongly he was a spy, yes.
And who do you think he was working for?
The Israelis. I'm confident it was the Israelis.
Why?
Jeffrey Epstein is...
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. This is just too ridiculous. Well, I mean, maybe this little bit at the end. One more. Hang on. One more. Where is it? Let me see what they got here.
And the death of another human being.
There's one kind of half exception.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just a little half exception. All right, just dipped his toe in the game. Nothing that would really count. This'll be fine, I'm sure.
So I went to my desk and I said, good morning, General Powell. This is John Kiriakou. I gave him the address. He said,
Thank you. And he hangs up the phone. 8 hours later, we fired 47 cruise missiles into Iraqi intelligence service.
People go around assuming our devices are secure. They're not secure at all. At all. It's not just, NSA, CIA, FBI you have to worry about. It's the British, the French, the Germans, the Canadians, the Australians, the New Zealanders, the Russians, the Chinese, the Israelis, the Iranians.
Okay.
I mean, everybody has.
Okay, that's enough. This is just schizo dealer crap. Your uncle Jack Kiriakou. Ephra says, this got me questioning which actor is a famous person is playing as a gay guy and is not. Are there undercover gays? There might be undercover gays. There might be, which is fine, I guess. Like being in the reverse closet. CCVA says he's like a different version of Russell Brand. Yeah, I guess so. So this is crazy, man. I mean, you let me know what you think. If you want to write it in the comments after you've meditated on this, you smoked on it. You did some blow on it. You've thought about it. Is John Kiriakou a PsyOp? What the hell is this? I appreciate everyone tuning in. One more time for him.
Do you waterboard him? Do you sleep deprive him? Do you put him in a cold cell? Do you beat him? Do you put cockroaches on him? Do you put hummus up his ass?
That's what I'm going to be asking myself if you don't join the Patreon. What I'm going to do to you. Do I put hummus up your ass? Do I waterboard you? Do I sleep deprive you? Do I go full 0 dark 30 on you? If you don't join the Patreon, that's what's going to happen. That we're going to start asking that type of question. 17 cents a day. I appreciate everyone tuning in. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye.
change the world. My final message, goodbye.